Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. I think my sound wasn't working, but it should be working now. Can everyone let me know how the volume is? I think I should be a lot louder than last time. No audio. Why no audio? Yes? Yes, like audio's back. What else can I do? Oh, audio's working. Yay! Thank you so much, Yukonberto. Can I just say tonight the caffeine, my caffeinated state, is sponsored by both Yik and Jay, so thank you both so much. I have a little, let me go to the main screen one sec. Here we go. Oh, everything's appearing all at once. There we go. So you can donate to my Ko-fi account and that keeps me caffeinated, so thank you so much to you too. Hi Tanya Melody! Fantastic, I'm so glad the volume is working better. Yay! Okay, so I have a little something to show y'all. This is the very, very start of a still life painting. And I know you're saying, oh, that looks like a face and we're doing a still life. Well, a lot of people, when they're doing observation from light in the academic style training, they work from what's called a face cast, which is made in plaster. Hi, Janice! And as someone who couldn't afford a fancy, you know, beautifully made plaster cast, I saw something on eBay that I thought would work, and I bought it a few years ago. And that is, I'm going to move you slightly, a face cast of Mark Hamill from Star Wars. So that's very exciting. So I've got him on my wall with a very beautiful bulldog clip. And I want to paint a still life of him. I actually want to paint 3 still lives, all to do with analogies of the face. So this is just going to be the first. Sorry to keep moving you. I'll just see if I can straighten that a bit. There we go. That should do. Yeah. So I got the outline down this afternoon, and now we're going to work with our multi-tonal blacks to create an underpainting layer. So I've got my lamp black, titanium white, and then 3 shades in between. So far I've used this center shade to do the sketch. And yeah, it'll just be a matter of working. I normally work from dark to light. We'll see how I feel. It'll probably be the same. But yeah, we'll get into it. How is everyone tonight? How are you all? So lovely to have you joining me tonight. Thank you. Oh. I'm just using a little angle brush. Ooh, where are we? There we go. So it's, again, kind of like that lazy man brush idea, but this one's a slightly stiffer brush because I'll be scrubbing out if I make any mistakes. So I want something that'll be stiff enough that I can just take stuff off. Now I'm going to start with this darker tone here and see how that is in my shadows. Yeah. What happened to our music? The second I start painting. How rude. Is the internet down? There we go. Worries me when it says stream healthy, but then it's doing a buffering wheel. Are y'all still there? I'm worried something's happened. Can't tell. The time is still going, so. Oh, Melody says here. Okay, cool. You are still here. Yay. Now YouTube's just giving me a spinning wheel of death. I don't know why. Oh, technology. Thanks, Yik. Actually, inside the eye is going to be the darkest part, so I'll grab some of that darker shade and plonk that in straight away. Also, if we get this finished fast enough, we might do another fast colour sketch like we did the other day. Because I've still got some of the nice bright colours left on my palette. I can't chuck them out when they're a nice juicy blob. But this was the job that needed to be done. Versus painting for funsies. I'm just trying to plonk in a little bit of where the darkest colours will be. So I have that as a guide going forward. Yeah, I follow a whole bunch of artists who do cast drawings, and it's the sort of thing in another life, if I could have gone to Florence Academy or one of those atelier schools, I would have been able to learn how to do one in person, but I've only really read about it in books. So I'm just giving it a go. I'm probably not doing it right, but a grisaille painting I know is at least a really good way to establish all your tones, all your values, sorry. Oh no, Jay, this isn't a commission. This is for, there's a still life competition. Hi, Mrs. G! Sorry. Yes, sorry, there's a still life art competition happening in Melbourne, and it's kind of cool because they've asked people to do 3 artworks rather than 1, so they're all going to be triptychs. And so when thinking about it, I was like, I like still life because they sort of sit still for you, of course. But when looking around my studio, I have a lot of analogies for faces. I have a thing for skulls, love a good skull. I've got a thing for masks. I've got this huge collection of different cultural and pop culture masks that just I've picked up over time, and my rallies, when they used to be traveling all around the world, I'd be all like, just get me a mask, that'd be a really cool souvenir. So I've got some cool Japanese ones and Korean ones and Balinese ones and heaps of stuff like that. So I thought, for a still life, I'm a portrait painter. Let's do a version of portraits, but with these still faces, so faces that don't move. So yeah. Oh, Mrs. D, you would have missed. We are painting the face of Mark Hamill, which I got a cast of off eBay. So I just happened to own a cast of Luke Skywalker's face, because why not? So that's what we're painting today. So that's why he looks a bit dreary, because this cast was taken, the ad said it was for, what, number 5, Empire Strikes Back. And you can tell because he's got the little lip scar and all that from his car crash, but I don't know if it was taken for that or for a project afterwards or not. I'm sure they would have just cited any Star Wars movie on the ad, so they'd sell it. I do believe this is also a cast of a cast. Like, I think someone took the original one, which would have been made of plaster, and they made a whole bunch of copies to sell, because, you know, otherwise it wouldn't have been only like $60 on eBay. Plaster casts of celebrities you can buy, but they're like $300, which is probably fair enough because they're these big, heavy plaster ones from a certain Hollywood studio that does them for sort of all the films. It is kind of creepy, but it's kind of cool too. Oh yes, sorry, not the car crash, the Wampa attack. My apologies. That's how he got the lip scar. I'm so sorry, that was so wrong of me. The Wampa attack. As a kid, I didn't even realise he looked different, which is weird. For a portrait artist, you would think I would notice that kind of thing, but as a kid, I'm like, no, that's Luke Skywalker, what are you talking about? Shows how much I notice. Alright, so I'm just building in some of my darkest shadows, and trying to keep it simple here is very, very hard, because I just want to do detail already. Ah! They are very solid giant plaster casts, like they are heavy buggers. I'd be more worried about what you pay in shipping. Like that $200, $300 isn't with shipping. I haven't been game enough to put it in the cart and see how much shipping would cost, because they're all in the US, of course. So, scary. One artist I know just got a beautiful plaster cast of one of the academic models, and he got that in Ballarat, and it came in this huge box. So I'm sure those ones, even though they're not of celebrities, like they're of traditional casts that have been recast and recast and recast for hundreds of years, even those, that would have been expensive to ship. I should ask him how much that was. Although that one actually creeps me out more. Okay, I'm going to give you weird explanations. Oh, Jay, I could find weirder things. But yes, this academic cast of a beautiful girl's face looks very romanticized. She's just sort of got her eyes closed and a slight smile. She's called like Lefty de Seine, or the Woman of the Seine, in French. And the reason, the like ghost story behind it, is that she was actually a girl who took her own life by jumping into the Seine River, and then they found her body a few days later. Apparently it couldn't have been a few days later, and they just cast her face to try and identify her, and no one ever came forward. So it's this whole romantic tragic tale about how she took her own life, and now all these artists have fallen in love with her face through drawing her, because the cast of her face turned into this academic model that got used again and again and again and again. And I don't know. I listen to some gory podcasts, and I'm pretty sure if you pulled a body out of water after a couple of days, it wouldn't be in castable condition. But it I don't know, it's also kind of tragic that we don't know who that girl is, because her face has been used so much and been redrawn by so many people, to just not know who she is, compared to many of the male sculpts. You know who they are, and you know who they were sculpted by. A lot of them are Roman gods and things like that. So I don't know, it's a bit of a weird story. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with the eyebrows, because to get his cast done, Mark Hamill's got a whole lot of Vaseline in his eyebrows, so they've kind of come out really chunky. I might just smooth them a little bit just so they don't look weird. In person they look weird. That's the problem with realism when you're painting something from life. If it looks weird in person, and you paint it looking weird, everyone else doesn't know that that's how it really is. They'll look at your painting and feel like, that's weird, and you're like, that's how it was in the reference. You gotta justify. Again, I'm trying to keep it simple, and I keep wanting to just go in and do shading, so I'm already finessing too much. Keep it simple, Liz. I like these slightly stiffer brushes because they fill in really good. I'm literally just scrubbing back and forth. You can be rough as heck with these brushes and they're fine. Fausto in the house! How you doing? Everyone, Fausto's been painting an awesome mural down in Knox. If you're in Knox, Victoria, and within 10 kilometres of the skate park, you should come down and check it out from a distance and check in with the COVID app. We are lucky enough to live close enough that I can go on dog walks there, so that works out quite nicely for me and Dipper. I could use the puppy care. No, I can't. She left me. If she comes back, I'll show you Dipper. She was asleep behind me, but she's moved. This is the problem with noise-cancelling headphones. I can't pick up when she moves. Hi, Steppy! I say hi from a distance. I liked all your videos today about jewellery. I learnt a lot about chains. If anyone's near Instagram, look up Fallen into Fantasy. Custom-made jewellery. That's Steffi's amazing jewellery label. She makes beautiful things. Of late, gorgeous fantasy weaponry as jewellery. Oh, that looks wrong. What did I do? This is the thing. You're meant to keep all your colours separate at this point and not mix them together, so that all your values stay strong. And what do? I mix them together. No. I'm just going back in with that dark one and fixing my mistake. That's okay. And everyone, Jay's an artist who's amazing as well. He's a digital illustrator working on some cool stuff at the moment and collab with another one of our art friends. So go check out JK_Inc on Instagram. I'm going to give everyone shout outs. Who else is here that I can shout out? Oh, Melody's here. Everyone check out Melody's stuff. And of course, Stacey's name is Mrs. Dangerbeard. And oh, what's your Instagram handle for this? Is it Creative Mrs. D? I think it is. Oh, I'm in my dog's Instagram account. That doesn't help. Yeah, Creative Mrs. D on Instagram. Yeah. I don't know if there's a batleth pendant at the moment, but there is definitely swords, axes, and bows and arrows in Steffi's jewellery. And shields. And a shield, which is cool. And she's working on some beautiful moonstone pieces at the moment, which are just really cool. I didn't even know moonstones were officially a thing. I thought they were just something you gave to Clefairies. So that was quite fun when I learned about those. I learn a lot from everyone on Instagram. I fucking love it. You guys are great. Creative Mrs. D. Yeah. Yay. Oh, first I was saying this is, you know, Tacit Gallery? They're doing a still life competition. And it has to be a set of 3. So I'm doing 3 analogies for faces that are still. So I've got a face cast of Mark Hamill, which is what we're working on now. I've got a skull, because I love skulls. And, you know, we've all got one of them inside our heads. And then I wasn't sure if I want to do a pop culture mask. I've got a few options. What else have I got? I've got the V for Vendetta mask, like the... what's his name? Guy Fawkes mask. I've got the Loki mask from the movie The Mask. I've got a lot of cultural masks, but I'll be honest, the cultural masks make me a bit uncomfortable because painting something from someone else's culture that isn't my own in this sort of context, I think feels wrong. So I probably wouldn't go with any of my Japanese or Korean masks unless I did some more research and learnt a lot more about them and figured out the context. Because, yeah, it just doesn't quite feel right to take something from someone else's culture and replicate it without knowing the full story. Personally, but I'm a research nerd, so that's part of my story as well. And I think the pop culture ones just say a bit more about me and links together the Mark Hamill face a bit better. I could do a Darth Vader mask, but I feel like that's too cheesy. And actually, I don't have a Darth Vader mask, so that's one thing. Tips for faces. Faces are hard, so I'll be honest. Faces have so much information in the little bit. I do a lot of the triangulation method or angles, which is where I literally line up my paintbrush in front of the model and I look at where does this line up with the nose. So this little tip of the eyebrow line up with the nose, and then I lock my wrist, move across to my board, and then I'll do the same line. So a lot of that, just checking the angles. So if you check the angles between like eyes and noses and ears and noses and any point around the face with the nose, does it have the same angle all the way around? And that can often give you the nose length. I know a lot of people do like a head is however many eyes tall and things like that, but I think because faces have so much variety, those rules work with some faces and not others. So just getting the relative, how does everything compare to what's there, can work quite well. Oh, a gas mask. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. I thought of like the masks we're all wearing at the moment, and I'm like, nah, everyone's painted masks. I don't want to do that. But gas masks are creepy. They're cool. Steampunk masks. Yes, there are some very cool steampunk masks. Also including gas mask vibes. So that's a crossover right there. There you go. I'm just leaving some holes where I know the lighter colour is going to come in. Try to look like a weird puzzle all the way. It doesn't have to be an object, but you have to be able to define it as a still life. So traditionally a still life is objects, but some people do organic objects like living things like plants and things like that. Some people do sort of more abstract ways of looking at things that are still, like a still moment while you have your coffee or something like that. So it's kind of broad, but it is a still life prize. So as long as you can justify your piece as a still life or a series of 3 still lives, because this particular prize wants 3, then yeah. Yeah. I was hoping he'd be recognisable as Mark Hamill, because he does have his eyes closed, and of course he's pulling a very calm face because he's sitting under plaster for God knows how long it takes to do a plaster cast. That's the interesting thing when you look through like the online gallery of all the celebrities plaster casts. Some people really look like themselves, like Christopher Walken and people like that with really distinctive faces. And then other people, like notably, you know, very attractive young female actresses, they all sort of look very similar because everyone, when they got their eyes closed like that, it's just a matter of how large their features are and where they are in conjunction with each other. And yeah, it's so interesting to see how some people are so distinctive and then other people aren't, especially without things like hair color, eye color, all those sort of skin color, all those things to differentiate. She does. Thank you for checking her out, Jay. She streams as well over on Twitch, Creative Mrs. D, so you can check her out doing portraits and kitty cat pictures and lots of cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the face cast of Nick Kelly, it's in the museum, isn't it? Like the Australian Museum? The Melbourne Museum? Or the Treasury Building? One of them. I know in Canberra at the Portrait Gallery they've got a copy of the face cast of Nick Kelly, or maybe they have an original one, I don't know. But they've got like 3 or 4 face casts. They've got more of a collection. Ooh, top of my wish list to paint. Living or dead? We are talking about like face casts, which often are of dead people. Dead. Top of my list for dead people. One of my art heroes is Lucian Freud, so he's definitely one I'd be interested in, although apparently in real life he was a bit of a wanker, as much as a lot of famous male artists were. Opinionated is probably the polite way of saying that. It's very opinionated. I don't know. The interesting thing with people to paint, it's that question of the people because of who they were, or the people because of how they were, as in how they looked, and would they be an interesting subject to paint? Because like Andre the Giant, man, I would have loved to have painted him from real life. He's like The Princess Bride is an amazing movie, don't get me wrong, but like just looking at his face, he's got the most interesting face. And I know he was a wrestler and everything, but I haven't ever watched his wrestling, so I only know his more pop culture debut things. But he would be great to paint. Yes, how was it, Mrs. D? Watching, it was Liam Gords on Twitch last night was doing a portrait of Mr. D. He's been doing portraits every night of different Twitch streamers who are artists. And I tuned in last night for a little bit, and I do admit, like, you know when you tune into something and it's not really recognizable yet, it took a little bit to start looking like you. Yeah, the YouTube app's a butt. It is a butt. I do apologize. I haven't quite figured out how to do the streaming thing on Twitch, and on top of that, I am trying to hit my things so I can get monetized on YouTube. So that's why we're on this side of the internet. So thank you all so much for tuning into YouTube. Hopefully it's not too bad viewing through YouTube. In terms of living subjects, there's heaps of people I would love to paint, but I am not the most outgoing, socially asking people, hey, can I paint you kind of person. I actually quite struggle with that. And now that I know some artists who do Archibald Prize and things like that, it's more and more intimidating because I want to be doing those kind of prizes. I want to be putting my hat in the ring eventually. I keep saying eventually, but really, like, we're talking imminently. But that means I need to go talk to prominent Australians because most of the big art prizes are all in the terms and conditions. You have to paint a prominent Australian or someone who has done something in the arts or the sciences or the sport of Australia because, you know, sport is king. And that means I need to meet famous people, which is hard for a socially anxious introvert. But that is true. Liam did a very different art style, and I think that really suited the portrait of you. The way he went so gentle with the colours, it was really pretty. And I think that really, really worked. Like DB pointed out the digital cardigan, but it's like got a cardigan texture multiplied over the top of it. That works really, really well. Yeah. I've only had my portrait painted like, if you want, but use one of my pretty headshots where I'm pretty. Use one of them. No, I did a sitting with my mate Kyle, and he painted me while I photographed him for a painting. And that was quite interesting. And I was a bit cheeky and asked if he could set up a mirror behind him so I could watch him paint. And that was so good. It was like live Twitch. I got to see him actually paint the portrait and see it come together. So I was quite fidgety until he set that up, and then that made me stop annoying him and ask questions and chat. So that was quite good. All right, where are we? New more dark. This gent has quite the cleft in his chin. Archibald, you should still do it. There's no age limit. We just need to paint famous people. I have very much got Dear Mum of the Internet on my list of people I would love to paint, but I am a bit nervous about it. So I understand she's already lined up a lot of things that she wants to do at PAX, but I might give her something that says what I want to do and see how she feels about that. And if it means I have to go up to Sydney to get photos, that'd be fine. I'll just go around Australia. But yeah, I've been a bit nervous to sort of ask on stream or anything because that's not appropriate. That's a bit putting her on the spot, and that's the last thing I'd want to do with something big like that is put her on the spot. But that would be cool, and I think she would be rad on that kind of a Australia-wide stage. She's done it before. I just need to do it justice. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm a big stan for Jordan Raskopoulos, amazing comedian, songwriter, mother of the internet. And she streams over on Twitch quite regularly, and I'm a sub of hers because it's chaotic fun. And you need a bit of that sometimes when you're painting and that, and you need a bit of chaos to watch in the background. Yeah. You can see the piece backwards. What do you mean you can see the piece backwards? I don't know what you mean first. Is that all my darks? Do I need more? Oh, that top lip's dark. Okay. I might do that. But I have to write up what I want to do first, because it's all in here. This is the problem. I get ideas for paintings, and then they just sit in my brain for years until I'm so sick of them, I just have to do them. I've got another person I have approached who's amazing, who's meant to be coming to Melbourne at the end of June. And I don't know if they're going to be able to now because of the stupid lockdown. But hopefully if they do, we've got a photo shoot lined up, so that would be cool. Not for the Archibald, but for similar sort of big scary things. Ooh, my light's just all flickered. Alright. I think that's it for my darks at the moment. So my plan is basically get the whole way around the face, and then once I'm the whole way around the face, I can adjust, because I think this shadow over here needs to be a lot darker. For example. Well, let's get around the face first. What's everyone else working on tonight? Is anyone else arting and crafting while we're streaming? Oh, doing that pop in and out thing. That's kind of cool. I like that. Used to love it, like What's New stores. They used to sell all those weird lights down the back of the store, because who needs 25 different lamps in their house? And they'd have the ones of like the faces that were in but lit, so they'd pop in and out. They were really cool. They were really cool. I used to love that section of What's New, where it was just all glowy black light stuff. Please don't tell me I'm the only one who remembers What's New. They were fun stores. Oh, paint. Also, once this layer's dry, I will bring in some colour. I mean, the cast itself is grey, but I'll just give it some warms and cools, and probably a dark coloured background. We'll probably end up with dark. I do have the shadow lines drawn in, so I don't know if I want a shadow or if I want a really dark colour, but we'll get there. Working on Oz Comic Con stuff. Yeah, people go to Oz Comic Con and see Fausto's stuff. And yeah, Melody, you're painting too. What are you painting tonight? Same thing? And Jay, you're doing Oz Comic Con as well? Yay! That's awesome. That's awesome. How far away is Oz Comic Con? That's coming up. Okay. Thank you so much, Stacey. Pray to Mrs. D. You have a lovely dinner. And I'll see you over Twitch and Discord. Bye. Gachapon. I've heard that before. July, early July. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Study View Bulldog. That's cool, Melody. Yeah, white pups are hard. You've sort of almost got to give them colour and then paint the white into the colour. So that way they've got some dimension. I did a painting of my mother-in-law's Labradoodle, Oscar, and he's just this cream colour. So I had to put all these like greens and reds and all these things down first, so then when I painted the cream on, it sort of picked up those colours and stood out a bit. Pets are fun. We'll have to do a pet night on live stream, because I haven't painted my darling Dipper yet. And I definitely need to do that. Just for me. At this stage, it's perfectly fine to leave things kind of chunky like that. But it gives me the gist of what colours need to be there. Yeah! Yeah. Okay, I'll put that on the list. We're gonna do a pet painting night. Wait, which colour did I just pick up? Yeah, that one. Oh, Tani, are you still here? Did you tell Cam I have Mark Hamill's face? He would like that. He is a Star Wars nerd after all. Yes, please to Dog Live, fair enough. She's not with me at the moment. She's ditched me. Probably because I have the headphones on. Although she has learnt that when I have the headphones on, she can tap my foot. I don't think she likes it when I have them on. Yay! Hi, Maverick. He's also a puppy. Is that another puppy I'll have to paint one day? When I open commissions again? I've painted 2 of Tani's dogs already. So, Maverick's the newest little bundle of joy. He actually had a play date with my dog and it went very well and they went nuts. As dogs do. This is fun. Ooh. Hi, Ian! How are you? Ah! Everyone, this is Snap Happy Ian from Instagram. I'm just shouting out everyone because everyone's rad. Go check out his amazing cosplay photography and macro photography on his other account that I can't remember right now. The other Snap Happy Ian. The other one. How are you? Ian, can you recognise the Star Wars nerd that I'm painting? I'm glad to hear it. We're not doing very well at catch-ups around all these lockdowns, are we? Probably hard to tell who he is at the moment because I've got so many chunks that aren't connected. I will get there. Cam's met Mark Hamill? Oh, that's amazing. Oh, he would be so cool. Okay, put him on my list of people that would be cool to paint, like, from life. And Carrie Fisher too. Sadly. Mark Hamill would be such a cool person to meet. Oh, that would be fun. Yay, and you do now. I've got a weird face cast of him, of eBay. Because that's something that I buy off eBay. Yeah. But it works fine for painting. Ian, I was asked who would be like my dream person to paint, alive or dead. Who would be yours to photograph? Do you have a dream actor or actress or someone that you would love to photograph? We're talking hypotheticals. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard question, isn't it? I suddenly went to people like Andre the Giant because he's got an amazing face. Like, how good would he be to paint? And Princess Bride, like, oh. And yeah, I'll add Mark Hamill to that list because he's also got an amazing face. Although he'd have to shave the beard because beards are annoying and then you can't. Well, it depends. Beards that are really like integral to the person's personality are fine, but beards that are just like stubbly and don't have form are really hard to paint because they detract from the form of the face and they hide the face and they make it difficult. And then some people, the beard very much adds structure to their face or adds personality, and then that's essential. Like, can you imagine painting Santa Claus without a beard? That wouldn't work. Now I'm rambling. How are we going? No, Dr. Batman's beard is nice and has good form because he goes to the barber and makes sure they make it pretty. And actually, he's getting a lot better at just trimming it himself and giving it really nice shape, which is a skill. So that's nice too. Although I do have photos of him without a beard. I never met him without sideburns though, so he's got to have at least that. That's essential. Alright, let's divide up this forehead. Foreheads can be tricky because they look like one big flat plane, but they're not. But if you overdo it, then the person has a lumpy head. Trying to be good and hold my arm out while painting, and my wrist just doesn't want it tonight, so... Bring me in the mail stick. Yeah. I can't put it there. Put it in the shadow. Yeah. Oh, hello. Guess who's back? Dipper, did you just come in and then go straight back out again? Dipper! A bit of runner on us. Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna pick her up. Next time. I have too many brown things in here. She blends in. Dipper, there you are! Hello! Hello. Yeah. Video. Oh. This is Dipper, everyone. She's grown so much. Haven't you, look? No, it's okay, Jess. She walked out on me to start with, but she came back. She's tired. Oh, with a droopy face. Isn't it? Such a droopy face. We went on a good walk today with Uncle Yick. And now she's tired. Melody, she's only like 4.5 months old. But still an absolute baby. Who wants to be with Dad right now? Oh, I think that's all we're gonna get from her. Back to painting. Oh. Are you back? Make up your mind. What do you want to do, love? Settle. Settle. It's giving me those eyes that are like, come out on the couch so I can sit on your feet. But that isn't conducive to painting. She definitely prefers us all to hang out together when we're all home. Standard pack dog mentality, but she'll be fine. Asta, don't give Dipper your soul. She'll do something terrible to it. I don't know what she'd do with it. Probably chew it and then leave it outside. Like all her other toys. But you can give her pats. I'll bring her back down the skate park next time you're painting. How's the mural going? Did you get a lot done the other day? It was nice and sunny. I'm gonna put my rag. Oh, don't worry, I feel clumsy on the inside. I'm glad it looks good. I think that's something that's hard to break out of, that feeling that everything that you're doing is a bit clumsy and wrong, but that's part of the joy of oil paint, is that you can fix everything that's wrong. Everything in the moment feels really clunky and gross, but I think that's just, I need to get all the paint down, and then once it's down, then I can start making it go more where I want it to go. Isn't it like imposter syndrome? That's the standard artist thing. I definitely feel the imposter syndrome quite often. But that's, I think, why I like painting with people, because then you can sort of bounce off other people and ask what other people see, and not let your brain lie to you a bit, and that kind of thing. That's why I used to like it at uni, and I like it having arty crafty days with friends, so we can all just do our artsy thing but support each other. It's lovely. Yeah. Gotta continue the process, as you say. And it is a process, and it's the same process every time, but it doesn't make you stop thinking you're doing it wrong every time, more or less. Too dark. Yeah. Yeah, the good thing about streaming, my computer warms up, so it's actually warm in here. That's nice. Maybe streaming is going to be a good winter thing, because then I'm nice and cozy. Although this is the first house in ages where we've actually had good heating, so I am loving that. Very, very impressed and happy. Haven't had a horrible power bill yet, so we'll continue to abuse heating until we do. The new studio is good. I had to dog-proof it somewhat, so a lot of my stuff is in the cupboard and not as accessible as I would like it to be. But as she grows up and learns that some things are not for touching, I'll be able to start bringing stuff out again. She's doing pretty well, actually. Like, at the moment, we're having a bit of a back and forth. She likes sleeping underneath my tripods, because I've got a light under a tripod over there, and then I've normally got this other tripod with my camera on it. And she likes sleeping underneath them. with her legs around them. But then if she touches it and it moves, she freaks out and goes, "Oh my god, what is that? How dare!" And I don't want her to get scared of the studio. We had one accident where my palette fell off, like this whole thing fell off my easel this way, and she was asleep. And of course, it woke her up, and then she freaked out. So I'm like very conscious that she isn't scared of the studio because I want her to be able to hang out in here in the daytimes with me. Like I've got a little I don't know if you can see down there, like a little dog bed under the desk. That's her little dog bed. Although she overheats in it often because it's like a woolly one, so she just sleeps on the floor most of the time. Oh, hello, hello, Conan. Nice to see you. Welcome. This is only my second stream, so not a worry about being first time here. This is second time here for me. We're just doing a bit of a grisaille painting of a still life of Mark Hamill's head. You know, normal everyday painting stuff. In oil paint, of course. Feel free to ask any questions if you've got any. Yeah. Oh, but Faust, the new computer's doing really well. Yeah. No, it's compared to when I was editing on my old computer. Like, it exports my YouTube videos in about 10 to 15 minutes, as opposed to 2 hours, like my old one. It is pretty magical. So I am very happy that that was the investment last year. Especially because, yeah, like I've been really enjoying making the YouTube content. I've only been doing it for, I think, just on 2 years now. Even though I've been a YouTube watcher for forever. Being a maker, yeah, has been a relatively new thing, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm very excited. We're almost at 1K. Which is very, very exciting. Oh, that was the cool thing. So, when we hit 1K, I'm going to do a Q&A video for YouTube, like as a normal video. So if you hop over to my Instagram at Liz Gridley Artist, in my stories, there's a little form thing where you can chuck in any question you like for the Q&A, and then I'll just be pulling them all out of a hat to answer for the video. So yeah, hopefully in the next week or two, we will hit our 1K, and then I can film that video. So go get your questions, chuck them in the bucket if you've got fancy questions you'd like me to answer. They don't have to be fancy questions. They can be pretty much anything. My sister put some really weird questions in there, so who knows what'll come out. As you do. No worries, Faust. Keep going with all your cool art for OzComic-Con. So close. It's lovely. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you soon. This is the point now where it's all filled in. Now I can go in and start finessing a lot of edges. I've just got to finish filling in this little bit of nose and eye, and then we'll be finesse time. And I might switch brush to something a bit softer as well. definitely got to make some adjustments in that nose, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Just doing a lot of that eye fuzz trick where you sort of make your eye go out of focus at the moment, just so I can see where the light points are. How do I approach a painting that may not be working well for me? It depends on the problem. If I'm just frustrated with it and I can't see a solution easily, a lot of the time I make it face the wall for a day or two. So then when I come back, I flip it around and see if the issues are more obvious. If it's a material issue, like the paints aren't working well or it's not going down properly, a lot of the time I'll switch brushes and I'll switch what I'm using, because sometimes it's just the fact that your brush is overclogged with paint and things like that. It's not applying it properly. Or again, sometimes like your painting needs to dry, so then you can come back at it when it's dry and then it'll all take on paint properly again. Because you definitely hit a point of oil saturation where you can't sort of keep oiling over the top without letting it dry. Yes, sometimes you do put the painting in the naughty corner, and the paintings learn. They learn by facing the wall that they don't get the rights to, you know, be seen unless they earn them. Alright, so I've switched to a little, where are we? Soft filbert. That little guy there. That little guy there. So this one's got nice curved edges, so that'll help me smooth out bits that I want to smooth out. And before I ditch this brush entirely, I'm just going to knock in a quick bit of background on that side. Just to have framing. Yeah, half the time the problems with paintings that aren't working is that you can't see why they're not working. You can only see that you're not liking it for some reason. And so isolating the painting or giving yourself the break to see it freshly is sometimes the easiest way to battle it. Also, it's less risky than doing something that you might regret. So take a deep breath. Have a cup of tea. Even just walking away and having a cup of tea and coming back, you might sort of have fresh eyes. So, oh, we haven't done the neck. That's what we haven't done. There's this little chunk here is a chunk of neck. I'm gonna block that in. Okay. Oh, thank you. It definitely makes a difference when you've got it sort of blocked in for the first time. Now it actually looks like a thing, not a bunch of lines, which is nice. It's nice to reach that first sort of stage. But we'll do some feathering, we'll do some refining. Get rid of some of those hard edges. See how long that takes us. This has come together pretty well. How long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for just over an hour. Yeah, so that's not bad. That's not bad. We did a block in an hour. That feels pretty good. Studio wishlist item. I don't know if I should tell you Yik things, because, as you know, the rules of shenanigans, the last person who shenaniganed should live in fear. And I was the last person who shenaniganed, to my knowledge. So I don't know if I should answer that question. I would like a pony. No. Yeah, Jess, you're not getting out of me that easily. You gave me sass last time I tried to sneakily get a clue out of you, so... Everyone, I know Jess and Yik very well, and they deserve this kind of language, for the record. I love them dearly. Okay, let's go in with the soft brush. Promises for no shenanigans this time. Oh, is that in perpetuity? Do I get that in writing? Is this like a Monopoly deal? Do I get immunity on all your hotels? Okay, studio wish list. A giant studio. No. There is definitely that thing. Sometimes you look on realestate.com.au and a house will have like a third lounge room that has a bar in it, and you're just like, that would be the best studio. Because like with the bar, you could turn the sink into a cleanup area, and you could have like a little bar fridge, and you could have, yeah, like all your stuff set out over large spaces so you can walk back really far from it. So that'd be the biggest thing. I do have a lovely artist friend who has this beautiful studio in their backyard, which was basically they built a giant high ceiling cube in their backyard, and that is the studio. And it is the most stunning space. She has her paintings running up the walls, like 7 paintings high, and it's all got controlled lighting, and it's set up specifically for painting, and she's in there every day painting, and I'm just like, heck, this is like a dream studio space. Because that's the thing, like I really do have like all the base equipment I want. At some point I would like to upgrade my easel, but that's like not a need. It's I think the only thing that would make a studio too big is if it got so dusty that you couldn't control the dust. Like, you know when things are so high ceilinged you can't dust the ceilings? Although, you know, if I was that rich, I'd pay for someone to... No, I'm kidding. But yeah, dust control is a real worry in art studios, because you don't want it to get out of hand. I already have problems enough with dust in my paintings. That's the problem when you use smooth surfaces, is dust becomes a lot more obvious. As opposed to on canvas, everything's textured already. Things like dog hairs and that. Even though Dipper is low shed, she does have little fuzzies that can get in paint. So I've got to be careful of that when I'm varnishing and things. I just posted the eye painting from the other day. At the end of the reel I did on Instagram, there's a zoomed in picture and it's like the eye with this giant dog hair just touching it. And I'm like, God damn it. I didn't notice until I was making the reel. And of course, like, I picked it out of the painting, but it's just... glaringly obvious if anyone watches the reel too closely on Insta. But yeah, no, I was saying I do want to replace my easel at some point. This is my less broken easel. My other easel, which is behind me over there, I don't think you can see it. That easel was sort of my main workhorse. And, oh, can you see if I tilt it down? You see the little shelf at the bottom? You probably can't. I broke the shelf off the bottom by putting my toes on it. So that one's my emergency backup easel now. And then this easel I'm working on, this top thing doesn't screw on properly at the moment. So I've got to see if I can fix that because the screw doesn't tighten. I think I've threaded it, which is an issue because that's what holds my board on. And that's the reason my pallet fell off the other day, because it wasn't attached at the top. So there are definitely models of easels like double stick paint frames that mean I could paint bigger. But when it comes to painting bigger, it's a bit of a pipe dream because when you think about painting bigger, not only do you need the bigger space so you can have the boards and be able to stand back from them while you're painting, but then you've got to think about transport. And I've only got a little car, so currently these easels do me fine for the biggest size board I can fit in my car. Because if you paint bigger, then you've got to think about, okay, getting it from my house to the framer, then from the framer to a gallery or wherever, and back and forth again. If you've got to hire a truck every time you want to do that, that's going to get very expensive very quickly. So that's what I'm like, anyone who paints huge, God, they must spend a lot in transport. I would love to paint huge. I would absolutely love to, but so far, all of my huge pieces are still with me. So you can only paint so many huge paintings when you've got to store them all, until one day when they'll all find homes, and that would be lovely. I had a great chat with a art friend who said, when you can sell big paintings, that's how you know you've made it. Because people will invest in the biggest things you've got. And I'm like, ooh, that's something to keep an eye out for then. So right now I'm going to try and be strict with myself and just start at the bottom and finesse all my way to the top. And just make sure all my edges are nice and soft, because I don't want anything sharp. Because sharp things are the things that are harder to fix if they're wrong. Everything's left nice and soft in the underpainting. When I go over the top with more colour, everything I can nudge and move around. So like, it doesn't matter so much that the chin is blending into the neck. I can just leave that, and it just gives me that freedom to adjust later. Freedom. Chinook for Liz. Sure. I don't know, is there a dream workshop or studio thing that you would like one day? Dream fancy desk? Would you want to build a desk like Dr. Batman did? Hi Jazz, how you going? How are you this fine evening thing? You would like a standing desk. Can't your work pay for a standing desk? They should do that. You need it for your physical and mental health. They should do that. They're not small dreams, they're tall dreams. You want to stand tall. Tall dreams. Well, Yik, I can't promise no wife shenanigans, but it's nice to dream. We're just having a dream sesh at the moment, aren't we? This is just a fun dream sesh for everyone. They paid for a standing desk in the office building that you can't go to. Can't you just bring it home? Or is it, again, a question of transport, freight, trucks, issues? Because that's probably fair. Oh, sun-facing window. I do admit, Melody, this is the first house I've had a really nice like kind of northish facing window, and it's made such a difference. Even just in my mental health, like being able to see the sky during the day and being able to see the sun has been really, really good. And I didn't realize how good it was until working in here over the last month. So I've been really appreciating that. That and Dipper does force me to go outside more often, so that's good for my health too. But having sun in the studio, even though I paint at night, I still appreciate having the sun in here. Even just for things like photography, like all my photos turn out better in here, which is great. Yeah. Yes, very much like Because I Have a Dream from Tangled. That is exactly this kind of dream sesh. I can't remember any of their dreams, except the guy who wanted to sing and some dude making cupcakes or something. I need to watch Tangled again. God. Alright, what is going on with his nose? No, fix the lip first. I said I'd work from the bottom up, and immediately I'm jumping around all over the place. You can see here I'm just nudging some of my lines, so like his bottom lip actually goes up and then down again. Do admit, I am appreciating Mark Hamill's face a lot doing this. Travel at whim and still work. That sounds pretty good. Well, the internet was supposed to give us that, wasn't it? What about all those ladies on their laptops at the beach? That's what we're meant to be able to do. I mean, plagues don't help. But that was the point of the internet and laptops, so that we could just go to a beach and keep working. I think that is a lovely dream to strive for, and I encourage it. And I encourage your work to take it on board at the next meeting. Despite the fact we can't go pretty much further than 10 kilometres right now. Melbourne people. Melody, what's your light situation at the moment for painting? Do you use, like, manual lighting, or do you just rely on whatever time of day it is? Ooh, I need a smaller brush. I didn't clean my brushes last night. Bad Liz. I need another rag. This one's saturated. One sec. Actually, I might quickly stand up and have a stretch. I will be right back. Be right back. Thank you for the quick short break. The internet lets us work from anywhere, but taxes don't. They do if you declare it. You've just got to be an honest one, right? Standard overhead fan lighting. Ugh. Oh yeah, porches are the worst like that, aren't they? They completely cut the light that comes into their house, which I suppose is good if you get really hot light, but it's a struggle for painters. Do you ever go out and paint on the porch in nice weather? I used to do that at my mum's house because that was a way to get nice light. Although then you got to fight with like getting little bugs in your paint and weather, which is a whole nother thing. But it can be nice though. Wind. Yeah, wind can be tricky. That's when you gotta make sure everything's really well held on to the easel and that kind of thing. That's what always gets me. I really like the TV show, the British one, Portrait Artist and Landscape Artist of the Year. And anytime they have a windy day outside, I'm just sitting there going, no! You see people's canvases just fly away in the wind and you're just like, heartbreak. I'd love to do one of those shows if they ever brought them to Australia. I don't know why they don't. We love that kind of stuff. Competitive game shows and portraits. Like our portrait prize is the most popular prize in Australia. Why can't we have portrait prize of the year? Hell, if I was National Gallery of New South Wales, I'd do that in conjunction with the Archie. Yeah, like the winner automatically gets into the prize or something. It's automatically in the running. Oh. Ooh, Tornado Town. Okay, that's a whole different kind of wind than the wind that I see on British television or experience here, so yeah, that sounds very much not fun. Is that why it's very important to be able to paint inside, I assume? Yeah. Oof. You can definitely have a look at on YouTube, there's some great desk light recommendations and that sort of thing. I use a LED light panel, that's what I've got over here. So it's sort of like one big square panel of LED lights and I can change the temperature and everything of it. So that's been a game changer for me painting at night because it's given me a lot of control over light. And it means that, yeah, for things like this, you can see it quite clearly, hopefully, which is good. Although, yeah, after lockdown, one of my mates is going to come over and see if we can hook up my actual camera rather than a webcam for this. So stay tuned. Hopefully we will be able to get some slightly better quality camera action happening. I've got a Canon EOS M. It's like a mini digital SLR, which in theory should be able to plug into a capture card. And these are all things I'm just learning about, so I'm hopeful. Yeah, just blending those areas together can just give it so much more form. No worries. I think the brand my one is called like Aperture or something, but I just watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos on best lighting setups for artists. What's the Hall of Faces in Game of Thrones? This is what I get for not watching Game of Thrones. It was so serious and everyone was so into it, it turned me off completely. But it sounds cool. I like the idea of a Hall of Faces. Were they dead faces? Admittedly, people who've had plaster casts of their face often look a little bit dead. That's because they're not allowed to move. Oh, sorry, Kylie, you asked about cleaning brushes. Yeah, Game of Thrones was just, it was so intense and everyone was into it at the same time and it just, when everyone's really fanatical about that, a lot of the time I find it kind of scary to watch. Houses skinned faces of the dead. Lovely! I was thinking it was more like Dead Marshes from Lord of the Rings, but like up. That sounds fun. I was saying at the start of the video that I've got a bit of a collection of weird face things. like this face cast of Mark Hamill, and I've got skulls, like not real ones, but like plaster casts of them and resin ones, and a whole bunch of masks from all different cultures and things like that. So my 3 still lives for this competition are going to be analogies of faces, which is quite fun. But yes, cleaning brushes. In theory, the night of painting, I use a little bit of odorless solvent to get the colour out of my brush, and I wring them out on some paper towel or a rag. And then about once a week, 2 weeks-ish, depending on how much I've been painting, I will sit down and wash them all in brush cleaner, of which I use 2. I use Incredible Brush Cleaner by Chromacryl, which is just a cheap detergent-based one for all my stiffer brushes. And that basically foams up like a shampoo and it just gets all the gunk out. And then it leaves the brushes a little bit crispy but clean. Then Old Master's Brush Cleaner, which is more like a cake soap. I use that on all my soft ones, and that one's a conditioner as well. So I use that. Again, it sort of suds up a little bit and then rinse it out in water, and then just wipe them all off on a towel and let them all dry flat on my bench. And yeah, that sort of brings them back to more or less life, which is good. I do tend to use a lot of cheapy brushes, so they don't last forever with oil, but they last sort of a fair while. A few paintings. It's good. There's an assassin's guild called the Faceless Men. Utilize the faces of dead people in order to disguise themselves to approach their targets. Yeah, skin doesn't really work like that. And if you preserve it, it goes all dried out and shriveled like shrunken heads. So, or like mummies, you know how it all dries out and goes leathery and frail? One room in their temple guild house was the Hall of Faces. Cool idea in theory, but if they were made of rubber, they'd last a lot longer. Not that I know if rubber technology was around in Game of Thrones, probably not. But that's cool to get the cliff notes on it. Thank you, Yick. This definitely does. I like the idea of death masks having that creepy haunted house, like they could open their eyes any second feel. And if this painting could get anywhere close to that eventually, that would be super cool. That's always the thing I find funny about skulls, is skulls look at you even though they don't have eyes. They have like vacant holes where eyes are meant to be. But people still say, oh, that skeleton's, you know, looking in my direction. You're like, but it can't. It physically can't. Weird thoughts. I think my nose is too wide. There's my measurements. Yeah, I think this needs to come in a bit. Maybe it's a very moist temple. I think that has complete other issues involved with the breakdown of skin. But it's a great visual. Moist faces. Lovely. I apologize to anyone who has nightmares tonight. This is what I get for not having moderators. Which, as when you say that, I can just imagine it in your voice and you just nodding at me and me just going, good point. It's a very good point. What sort of brushes do you use, Kylie? Mostly like tack ones, synthetic ones, or mostly natural fiber? Because like the Taklon ones, they're cheap, which is great. But they even if you chuck the most expensive brush cleaner at them, they're still not going to last that long. Because the oil in the paint sort of clogs them, and then the terps breaks down the plastic. So you find that the tips of them tends to sort of slowly curl and move down, regardless of how nice you clean them. I know some artists. Oh, my memory card's full. I will be right back. I've just got to clear up some old videos off my memory card because I'm recording this so I can make a big time lapse at the end as well. And I will be right back. Won't be a mo. And we're back. How well did we time that with the music stuff? You brought Rosemary's brushes. How did you know which brushes to buy? I got their catalogue and I'm like, there's 4 million brushes in here. I don't know which ones to get. I haven't bought any of their brushes yet, but they look beautiful and everyone says they're amazing. But I know they've got synthetic ones, they've got non-synthetic ones, they've got new technology ones, they've got so many different kinds. But they are good quality brushes, so I doubt you've got any of the cheapy Taklons like what I was talking about. So yeah, in terms of painting with oils, use solvent at the end of your painting session. I don't use solvent during my painting session, just at the end, just to get the colour out. Wipe it all off on paper towel until it runs clear. And then have that 1 detergent or 2 detergents that you use depending on the style of brush. If they're really soft, go for that Old Masters one. If they're more stiff and springy, then go for just Incredible Brush Cleaner. Any sort of liquid detergent-based one would be fine, because there's heaps of brands that do very similar ones, and they're sort of halfway between a dish soap and a shampoo, but designed to emulsify that oil really well, which is good. Ando Tischler. Yeah, he's got some great brushes in the packs. They're all mostly stiffer brushes, I think, except for the little skinny ones. They're softer brushes. Yeah. He actually, I think, has a video on Mediums here on YouTube where he talks about cleaning brushes, so I'd watch that as well. He's got, I'm pretty sure his video on Mediums goes over cleaning brushes. Otherwise, have a look on his channel, because I remember him talking about cleaning brushes at one point. Because I know he uses Liquid, which is a fast dry medium, which you got to be careful with, because if you leave that in your brushes overnight, that can fudge them up. That kind of thing. Yeah, he does beautiful work. I don't know how he doesn't drive himself nuts doing those cliff faces of 1,000 details. I would go insane. He also has a beautiful studio, if you want to watch a drool-worthy studio video. Ooh. Love that. Who else does everyone follow on YouTube? I've got a lot of favourite artists on here, like Lena Danya I love, Slew, who's a bit of a funny one, SLEW, Andrew Tischler, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm just picking out a little crusty bit of paint. Picking up little crusties. Who am I thinking of in my brain? On something. Oh, what's his name? gonna drive me nuts. Stephen Bauman, that's who I'm thinking of. He's great. Love his stuff, and he's apparently got a great Patreon, so I've been meaning to look into that. Yeah. As you can see, I'm just sort of softening forms, like that cheek I'm really happy with now. I've just got to keep going through until the whole face is sort of finished to the same level, and then that'll be it for this guy. At least until he's dry, and then I can do another layer. I'm just sort of juggling the two brushes for when I need to add paint and subtract a little. Oh, you do his Patreon! That's awesome! How are you finding the Bragg drawings? The drawing from the casts? I'm on the Discord, but only as a fan, not as a Patreon person, but I'm loving seeing everyone's work. I would love to do it, but I haven't committed the money and the time. Because yeah, that's like proper academic learning there, which is what I've never been able to do. But he's very articulate, isn't he? He is on YouTube anyway, which is good. That's fabulous, Kyle. Yay! That's so good. That is the thing with those sort of programs. It's a lot, but just take notes. Like, take notes. You can always come back and the idea with Patreon is you can like revisit old lessons, can't you, if you want to? Because that sounded very appealing. That's fabulous. And having critiques as well, that's awesome. That's such a good thing to have access to. So glad to hear it. Yay. Thanks for letting us know. It's always good to know, because you hear about everyone advertising their courses, but actually hearing how people's are adds a whole other level, which is lovely. I'm not sneakily looking at your Instagram as well. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking. Oh, beautiful. Oh, Kylie, your work's stunning. Wow, so many of those are in pen? Heck. Ballpoint pen. You're a wizard. Well done. Yay. I love seeing everyone's work on here. It's awesome. You're kicking it. Just keep kicking. Yay. Alright, so I'm starting to feel really good about this eye. So that whole side of the face, see how it's a bit more soft and blended and it just sort of turns nicely? That's what I want over here. At the moment, this is all way too separate and chunky. It needs to all unify nicely like this side has. So I need to work my way over there again. She says while still being on the right-hand side of the painting. You still have to go to work on the train during Melbourne lockdown. Oh, Kylie. I'm glad you get to draw, but that's a short straw. That sucks. Is everyone being good on the train again and wearing their masks properly? Because before the lockdown, heck, had people dropped the ball. Even buses that passed me, like barely anyone would be wearing their mask. It freaked me out. This is why I add the background, so you can sort of cut into the face if you've got to subtract. His face was going a bit wet, like wet, so just back that way. Sound effects makes the job go. Everyone wears a mask, but most days there's no one on the train. Oh, well, that's nice to have the whole carriage to yourself. At least you know it's been thoroughly cleaned. Oh, hi, Vizzo! Thank you! We're getting there with this one. It's only the underpainting, so we're only working in black and white, but it's getting there. Considering what we started painting an hour and 40 ago. Alright, so I'm gonna give myself half an hour to see if I can finish this off. I don't know. We'll see how we go. If I'm left on my own, I'm left on my own. That's okay. That's been lovely chatting though. This is what I enjoyed in my first test the other day, was just I think I paint faster when I'm chatting. I'm finding. I do, yeah, I do underpaintings. I don't even always do underpaintings, but when I do, a lot of the time I'll do them in blue or red or something like that. It depends on what I want at the end. Because the cast itself is grey, I thought for this one I'd do it underpainting, so I had a really good control over the shadows and shapes, and then I can just lightly glaze it with a bit of colour once it's dry. That's too bright. But yeah, it depends on what I want. So a lot of paintings, if I want really, really high chroma finish, I'll do the underpainting in a bright colour, and then that sort of pokes through a little bit in parts of the painting. So like on my web store, I've got a life drawing painting I did of a boxer, and that I did in bright blue underneath and then skin tones over the top. And that really made him very electric, which was cool. I've got another underpainting on there that I did in black and white, but then I just glazed it with purple and orange of a gentleman sitting, and he sort of looks like the devil. That one was quite fun. Yeah, depends on the painting. Most of the time I just sort of pick a dark value on my palette that sort of goes nicely. So most of the time it's sort of dark red or dark blue. But that's because they're two of my favourite tubes. Sapphire and Permanent Crimson are two of my favourites. Both by Art Spectrum, which is an Australian paint brand. Made here in Victoria, but very, very good, and I think international. I think you can buy it through Jackson's and a few of the other big online stores. Yeah, Art Spectrum was the one I started with because it was the only artist quality paint at the art shop that I worked at. Because it was a glorified craft shop. They only had one artist quality brand. So that's what I bought with my staff discount. when I was a youngin'. Although now, yeah, I've got a whole bunch of different brands now, because I like to experiment and see what other brands are up to, and whenever people come out with new colours, I find that irresistible. So now I have way too many tubes. Really? Too many compared to what I need. This chin has so many ups and downs. It's got lots of little bits. Alright, YouTube is trying to give me a whole bunch of tips, so I'm just going to save that as a screenshot. Or later, because they will all disappear when the stream ends, which is so helpful. There we go. Tips for later. Something to do with my audio bitrate. Whatever that is. I'm still learning. I really like the right-hand side. This is the problem. I'll start falling in love with half of my painting and then I won't do the other half. Does anyone find that? You fall in love with like one spot and then you're too terrified to do the rest of the painting because you'll fuck it up. Fudge it up. I'm very glad I haven't painted the background over here so I can lean my finger in it. I do have my mask stick, but now I'm holding paintbrushes in my other hand. Normally I have my hair tied up and I do the very traditional shove paintbrushes in my ponytail trick. But I thought I'd have my hair down tonight. Just cause. Kylie, do you normally do underpaintings, or this is all still fairly new stuff? So I imagine in the Patreon you're doing a lot of drawing first and then painting will come later, yeah? That'd be my guess. Oh, yes. Yes, sorry, I mentioned earlier. So when we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is hopefully soon, I'm going to do a special Q&A on YouTube. So I'm going to do a special Q&A video and you can submit your own questions right now on my Instagram in stories. There's a little panel that you can type your questions into, or on the front page of my Instagram, there's a highlight where you can jump into that and answer the questions as well. So, or sorry, ask the questions as well. So if anyone wants to do that, please do, because I want lots of questions to answer. I'm just going to put them all in a hat and draw them out and have a go at answering them, no matter how random they are. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. I've only been doing sort of face videos for about a little bit less than a year now. But I'm feeling a lot better about them. Doing this sort of thing where I can talk to people directly makes me feel a lot more confident doing those sort of videos. So yeah, I think it'll be quite fun. And I like answering questions that I know people want answered, as opposed to just finding a generic list of questions. I think that will be a lot more random. Hello puppy, you're back. Good for you. Gonna have a snooze? Okie dokie. Yeah. Settle. We're joined again by Dipper, but she's very tired. It's bedtime. Thank you. Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to get her all settled. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. She's all settled on the floor now, so she should be good. Should be good. And so. Oh, okay, so you mostly painted alla prima all in one session. Yeah. Multi-session painting is a bit more intense just because you got to think about all the layers, but it's fine. And yeah, mass method is very much around this. Yeah. Well, drawing and painting are quite separate skills, really, like dry medium versus wet media, because they behave differently. How you can add and how you can subtract a lot of the time. One's more thick versus thin, and the other one's more sort of gradually building it up. It's interesting how many art mediums they sort of are similar, but really they're like two languages. Like how Spanish and French are similar, but they're separate languages. It's kind of like that. That's always my problem. I've always worked in art supply shops over the last 10 to 15 years. 10 to 15? Oh god, I'm old. Yeah, and as much as I'm an oil painter, talking to a watercolor artist, a lot of things do cross over, even though they have very different rules. And that's always the hard part in the shop, is you sort of have people starting different classes, and then you've got to be able to reassure and translate some knowledge, even though that might not be your specific area. Yeah. Oh, good girl. She's all stretched out. This music is reminding me of a very specific, I think, 90s R&B song, and I can't pick what it is. Something. The song's called Libra on Chill Hop. I do not know what that is. Stephen Bauer paints over his drawings. Oh, I know, but that's terrifying, isn't it? Oh, it's terrifying for me, especially because his drawings are so beautiful. Just doing that much. Settle, sweetie. Dipper. Oh, settle, sweetie. Settle. Good girl. I would be more tempted to do a transfer drawing of my drawing. Like, photocopy it, do a transfer, then have that on a board, and then paint over it, so at least then I've got the other original drawing still. It's a lot more work, but less risk. I suppose he's at the point where he knows exactly how things are going to go, so that gives you a lot more confidence that things aren't going to go wrong. There you go, something else for me to dream for in the future, having that much confidence that I know nothing's going to go wrong. Good girl. Settle. Good girl. Or if I keep saying settle, good girl, you know it's all directed at Dipper. This chin area is starting to get there. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Getting into some nitty-gritties with these lips. His top lip does like 5 different things. Just to make it complicated. I think the problem we're having is Dipper keeps thinking I'm talking to her when I'm talking to you guys, so she keeps looking at me quizzically while she's trying to sleep. I'm sorry, sweetie. To admit, I normally don't talk as much in the studio. Oh, that's looking a bit better for the mouth. Yeah. That's looking a bit better. Gotta add, he has this like little mole over here. It's catching the light ever so lightly. Just there, I promise it's there. Barely see it on the screen, but for some reason it's important to me. But you know it's there. What did I say earlier? We have to have a puppy dog stream. What other streams did I have ideas for? Definitely want to do some spooky stuff around Halloween. As much as Australia's not super into Halloween as an actual holiday, because obviously it's not our holiday, but it's a fun time of year to celebrate all things spooky. That would be fun. I always love doing paintings of like skulls, Frankenstein, ghosty things. So any excuse will do nicely. Little crusties. Get out of there. I'm going to sign off this area, most of the nose, figure out this little bit of the lip. If I say I sign off an area, you've got to tell me off if I go and paint there again. That's me just fiddling. I think that would be a bit rude if I was actually painting on Mark Hamill's face. Then again, he must be very good at sitting still. I never unpainted on his face for any roles with prosthetics. Oh, there you go. It's just the trick of grisaille painting. Creating form, suddenly it looks a bit more 3D, which is fun. I love that thing about painting, when a flat surface covered in liquid suddenly looks like a 3D thing. It's all just witchcraft. Yeah, much happy with the lip area now. Just needed that little bit more light. Let's sort out this left side of the nose. That needs some sorting. Oh, sorry, I'm leaning into the cream. I used to wear glasses when I used to work on the computer all day, but now that I don't work on a computer all day, glasses don't seem to help anymore. Probably should get my eyes checked again, but don't really want to be buying glasses again at the moment. I find that no matter how my eyes are when I go to the optometrist, they always want to sell me a new pair of glasses anyway, so... I'm lucky enough I never needed glasses when I was a kid or anything, it's just eye strain was the main reason they told me I should get my first pair. Just gotta remember to blink. Something is going on with this fuzzy brush. It keeps dropping little bits of crud in the paint. Maybe it's losing hairs. Yeah, but they always tell me if I just take my old glasses and get new lenses, that the new lenses cost just the same amount, so you might as well just get new frames. That's what they tell me. Then I spend half an hour trying on new frames. How often do you get new glasses, Jess? And you? Yeah, that's it. And they're always like, you might as well get new frames because then you'll have both sets of glasses. The new pair that we're telling you need to have, and your old pair that, you know, are good enough in a pinch. Ian, you probably should, considering you're doing macro photography and things now. Looking at the tiniest thing, you probably should get your eyes checked again. Well, that's the thing, the cheapest frames aren't the cute ones. What if I want the cute frames? What if I want the sassy librarian ones? Not the, you know, I'm an accountant from a 1980s film ones. Well, that's pretty good, Yik, that your current ones have them worn as well. Maybe you should get, you know, phone case covers for your glasses, because you were the one who told me off for not having a phone screen protector on my phone. Get that for your glasses to help with wear and scratching. They had little like peel off stickers that you just kept refreshing the peel off sticker. Then they'd last forever. Those glasses are cute. Yeah. And that's the thing, if you find a winner in a frame, then yeah. Completely understandable if you don't want to change frames just because you found really cute ones. Yick, yes! An entire new industry. Invest. I'll invest on the ground floor. Glasses, protectors, peel off at your leisure. Scratch free. We'll get some TikTok influencers to advertise. It'll be great. Oh, we're getting close. We're getting close. It's amazing how much on screen I feel like I'm not doing a lot, but if I do a time lapse of this later, then I'll feel satisfied that I've done a lot. That's what the time lapses aren't for my audience. They're just for me to feel like I've done something. Oh, motorbike people have things called tear-offs. Ooh. Maybe we need to make that an everyday wear thing. Just everyday tear-offs. It doesn't sound like the most eco-friendly thing, but you know, capitalism. It's fine. Unless they're biodegradable. What do you mean Yick doesn't need more thickness on his glasses? Pshaw. He could go harder. Better, faster, stronger. Oh, what was I doing? Oh, made a mess, made a mess, made a mess. Fix it, fix it, fix it. Keep losing the shapes on the side of the nose because there's not a lot of difference in the values. It's all very, very similar. That's the hard part. The bits that are distinctively different, like the eye, they're so easy to see, but this bit, it's all sort of one blob of the same value, but I want to lineate where the nose is versus the cheek. Which goes against that whole paint what you see thing. This is me painting what I think, but I want that definition there so it makes sense. Because this is the part of the face that protrudes. And it's just so finicky. I think I'm going to have to leave it like that. Again, it looks like a dark smudge in person, so it looks like a dark smudge there. So technically that's right. It's just... I wish it wasn't a dark smudge. I wish it was more obvious. There we go. Alright, so we'll go down to this chunk here, and then I'm done. And this chunk I've already been playing with a bit, so we're not too far off. Dark. Yay, I'm liking how this is going. I'm happy. Just doing one last go around with my absolute darkest value, just to make sure we're nice and robust. Anywhere we want to be. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cool. I'm just softening edges again. Yay! Okay, I think I'm going to leave that background and I'll fill that in once this is dry. But yay! I like it. It's got character. Just like our dear model's face on the wall. How are we feeling, folks? Everyone ready for bed? Or should I do one last quick sketch? Take a photo for Instagram. Oh yay, my phone identifies it as face. That is the ultimate compliment. Thank you, phone. Now that I'm looking at through my phone, this side of the face doesn't look dark enough, but we can darken it with a glaze once it's dry. I would hate to go in and stuff it up now, so I'll wait for it to dry, and then I can go in and fiddle with it a little bit more with the glaze. Go team! Alright, let me put this somewhere. Thank you! Oh, look at all that wet paint. Juicy. Alright, I'm going to put him on the drying rack. Yeah. Alright, let's get this up. Guys. Yay! Oh, thanks, Jazz. Jazz, you do ride hard. So, here till the end. You're amazing. Thank you. Alright. What's in the old inspiration folder? Do we have a request for animal or human? Thanks, Kylie. That's alright. Love getting questions in the chat, so thank you so much for being here in the crew. That's been fantastic. I can't wait to see more of your drawings as you do your Patreon course. That's very exciting. Oh, we're a bit over. That's better. Okay, inspiration folder. Like that we're actually using my inspiration folder now. This is my second time I've used it this week. Human, eh? I've got one vote for human. No worries, Melody. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck at work. I hope you have a good day. And thanks again. I hope you had a good time painting. Yeah. Ooh. That picture. Oh, 2 more votes for human? Okay, I think we're going human. Da -da 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 -da. Human folder. Ooh. We can stick with pop culture. I've got some good pop culture references in here. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, you're just going to hear me make noises. I have another picture of Mark Hamill in here from when he's older. Maybe another day. That one's got a lot of detail in it. What else have I got? Ooh, this one. Got this gentleman who's like rolled his eyes back, so he's just got like whites of his eyes showing. It's very cool. Jazz, this is how my brain works. What colours do we want to use? I've got some blue there. I might just use blue and white. I've got this nice green paper. When I say blue, I mean this sapphire colour. And look here. No, that brush is dead, not that brush. Okay. Oh, the board fell down on you. You're okay. There you go. Oh, good. Oh, good. You're a good girl. You're okay. Little. Sweetie, come here. Down on that. Yeah, you can go under there if you want. You can go under there. She's indecisive where she wants to go. You guys see it? Oh, she went. Good girl. Settle. Settle. Okay. My brain is like a game. Question is, there's no way to know if you're winning. Oh, hi Thunderbird Fitness, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us here on stream. Okay, I'm quickly gonna go let the dog out because she keeps sort of walking to the door, and we'll be right back. I'm completely okay with that if you want to be puppy sitter next time, Jess. Thank you so much. We're back. She did need to go outside, so that was a good call. All right. Now, we're going to do blue and white, won't we? Oh, my brush still has a lot of grey in it. Awesome. Okay, let's just do a quickie. Let's just do the eye. Another eye. I had fun doing eyes yesterday. Yeah, good girl, settle. He's just looking at me like, why can't we go to bed, Mum? But she's welcome to go to bed, but if I put her to bed and I stay in here, she's not happy with that either. We originally put her to bed at just 10 o'clock and she'd be in her crate. And then we transitioned to she goes to bed whenever I go to bed, because if I stayed up, she'd get upset. And we're pretty pushover parents. Oh, parents. This is fun being kind of slapdash with the paint after being so careful in the last one. Sleepy, sleepy. Yeah. Alright, let's bring some white into here. Yeah. Ian, are you still there? I'm starting to get worried about our next photo shoot thing that we're doing. Makes me very sad. Oh, business cards, collector's cards. I should have brought them around today. If I see you on the weekend, I will get some for you. I officially have new business cards, which I call my trading cards, because each time I get them printed, I get different artworks printed on them. So I have a collection for you, Jess, and your people already. You're trolling through Facebook Marketplace. Why am I not surprised? I should tell you if I need to get another camera for streaming. We're going to try and see if I can use my Canon EOS M as a webcam, and if I can't, I'll be on the lookout for something I can use as a high definition webcam so the paint looks a lot more high res, because this is just using my webcam at the moment. Which is a good webcam, like it's the Logitech widescreeny one, but if I could use an actual DSLR or something, that would just be so much better quality. Yes, Jess, I can give you some as well. I've actually done a little item on my web shop of my new business cards where you can have like 4 for free, just pay for the postage, for anyone international. But yes, local people, absolutely. When I see you, you are welcome to them. Because I think I got 5 or 6 new designs that weren't in the last collection. So they're fun. Yeah. Which Lumix was that? That was the one you were selling. Because I'm using my Lumix DMC LX10 or whatever for filming this for YouTube, but I can't use it for streaming because apparently a lot of people online have tried to use that as a webcam despite the fact it has a HDMI out. It doesn't work for reasons I don't fully understand. Yeah, so and that's I've had a look to see online if I can use that, and unfortunately it's not supported by the Panasonic drivers for webcam, and then on top of that, the fact that it's got a HDMI out doesn't seem to matter. It still doesn't work, at least from my Googling. All I got was results of people trying it and going, I can't get it to work, can anyone help me? So that stinks, because yeah, that's what I wanted to use, so that's why we're going to see if I can use my older Canon EOS-M for it. Which involves using a capture card, I think Iggy said. Oh, this is nice and relaxing, guys. After doing that intense painting, this is like playing with the colouring in book. I'm just squiggling. It's fun. Yeah. I'm working off a black and white photograph, so this is kind of interesting to just make up the colours completely. Just adding some yellow in. Very cold yellow, so it sort of works with the blue and the white. And only if you're bored. If you're that bored, you're welcome to do some research for a good option for doing a webcam, either with a Canon EOS-M or our Lumix. If you can figure out a way to make the Lumix a webcam, that would be super great. But don't put effort into it. Because, I don't know, I'm not too fussed. Like, this is okay for now. It's just, yeah, if I could get the webcam capturing the footage, then I wouldn't have to be recording on my Lumix at the same time as recording with a webcam, which is what I'm doing at the moment. I've literally like shackled together. I can show you my tripod actually. Oh. See how I've got my camera above my webcam? I've created a little Frankenstein. And then this webcam on my face is the webcam Jack bought when I was in Italy, like, what, 12 years ago, so we could web chat. It has 1.3 megapixels written on the front, which I'm surprised it still works, but it does. And for my face cam, who cares? Like, that doesn't have to be high resolution. I loved all your photos from Supernova, Ian. You got some absolutely fabulous ones, especially considering you weren't working with your lighting. You did really, really well. I really like the ones on the con floor because they were like really dramatic, and yet at the same time it just was like the everyday con in the background, which was fun. Good girl, Dipper. Good girl. That's all. Okay. That's all, sweetie. You're okay. All natural light. It's a challenge, but you definitely got up to the challenge. That's awesome. I don't want to just build out towards the ear, so I'm just going to quickly chuck in some ear. Let's make it slightly pointy, just for fun. I'm starting to feel tired now. This will be a quick one. Feels good though, I've gotten a lot done tonight. Thank you everyone so much. Hanging while I've been hanging. I definitely have enjoyed how productive I feel while live streaming. I think you guys are all making me a bit accountable. Thanks, Ian. I really appreciate that. It's fun just to hang out with people. This is what I miss when I'm working from home. It's just that community vibe, I think. Guy's turned into a bit of a like demon. He's got those cool, just white eyes. Very cool. Oh, hello, Kim. Yeah, no, we're just getting towards the end of the painting session. I'm so sorry, but this was a quick sketch we've just done after our grisaille painting that I talked about in the title of the video. So it will definitely be saved as a recording if you want to watch it back. But our grisaille of Mark Hamill's face, I'm quite happy with it. It came across quite well, but we'll have another session soon doing the next layer, probably next week sometime. So I'll give it a week to dry. And then we'll go from there. Sorry. But that's okay. I'm still sort of trying to figure out what's the best session time. This has been really nice. I'm thinking I might even do an early session one week and then a late session the next week. So it's sort of like fortnightly. So that's not too intense for everyone to watch me weekly in one time zone. But hopefully that gives a bit of variety for everyone. How does that sound? 1 week evening, 1 week morning? Yeah, Kim, it's morning for you, isn't it? In California. Still getting my head around international timing. Sounds good, Jazz? Yay. Keep looking back at the Mark Hamill reference on the wall because that's what I've been staring at all night, not this guy. During the evening sessions? Yay. Awesome. I'll just figure out if I want to do Wednesdays or Thursdays. Because Wednesdays might work out a little bit better with my partner. 5:40 in the morning. Kim, what are you doing up? Oh, that's early. That's how early my partner gets up. That's why he feeds the dog in the morning. Alright, I think I'm happy. I might leave that there. Or else I'll just add another bit there. I love these sort of sketches. They're so fast and loose. Drip. Drips. I say I'll leave it and then I touch it for like 20 more strokes. Okay, I'm done. Yay! Oh, that was such a good session, guys. Thank you so much. I feel tired, but happy. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you everyone for tuning in so much. This has been really fun. I'm really happy. I'll bring the other painting up again so we can have a look at both of them. One sec. Let me go to full screen. And that's the two of them. Yee. Oh, that's nice, Yick. Yay! Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Jazz. Thank you, everyone, for coming so much. So much. I incredibly appreciate it. And yeah, thanks again to Yick and Jay for sponsoring the caffeine of the day. You can sponsor the caffeine yourself by going to my Ko-fi account, which is on screen below. But seriously, guys, thank you so much. You didn't have to, so thank you. I will make sure that this is uploaded so that way anyone can watch it back. Kim, if you want to watch it back, I'll leave it on, so that's all fine. But I hope you have a lovely evening. And thank you so much for spending your evening with me. Yay! Love you all so much. I will see you later. Bye.